I'm feeling burnt out. I'm gonna take myself on a walk. Maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna take a little change of environment snooze. Okay. Bye. Butterflies with beautiful designs, story skies, and your pretty little eyes. I'm in love with how they gaze into mine. Out in I'm like, I don't eat breakfast. Like, I'm not that hungry. Time to get to work. No classes today, you know what the fuck that means. White Iverson playing is actually hysterical. Got me some. It's April 2nd. It's my brother's birthday. I think I want to be done being alone. For the first time, like, I would rather be around him than just with myself. And it's like a strong pull. Like, I don't know, we didn't get sick of each other. I think I've come to terms with the fact that, like, are you gonna have Zoomies right now? You can if you want. Do you want me to open the door for you? What's going on? Anyways. It's just like, I think I've proven my point to myself that I can do it alone with God. And that, like, I know I'd be okay alone, you know? But that doesn't mean that I'd rather be alone. Like, I'm okay being alone, but, like, now that being said, I like to have my own space, and it depends who I'm around, you know? Like, I want like my, like, soul family now. Hi, baby. You're so cute. I'm honestly just so grateful. Like,
if I showed 5-year-old me around what, like, a day in my life, or like if she were here observing me, like, we would high five each other, you know? And it's interesting because on paper, this is the lowest I've been, you know? Like, I'm so broke. I'm in debt. And I have never felt more free. It's like I've trained myself to observe all of my thoughts as if I'm, like, passively in the background, and now I'm choosing consciously and intentionally which ones to pay attention to instead of all of them. So sometimes a thought will jump in my head and be like, you can't do that, and then I'll grab it and I'll analyze, where is this self-doubt coming from? Is this an actual situation where I could put myself in danger, or am I moving out of fear? Because when I move out of love, sometimes I worry that I'm, like, being lazy. But I'm just taking care of myself to the best. And then that's when it all works out anyways, you know? I feel like I need to, like, just sit with myself after running for so long. On to the next thing, or to get to the next part. And I've become increasingly aware of how amazing my life is and how grateful I am, because, like, out of all the scenarios in the world, this is who I get to be, you know? Like, that's amazing. I'm probably the first woman in my bloodline who has done, well, almost all the things I've, like, would have achieved. I don't know, like, it's a lot. And I never stop to just appreciate myself and smell the flowers, you know? It's just like, it's hard to fathom sometimes that at a couple points I thought, like, I knew everything, or, like, I knew how to get the answers to do everything. And like, now all I'm doing is searching or observing for as much as God will bless me with, you know? I think, like, what has happened is I'm no longer chasing things that I desire. I rest and take proper care of myself and pray for the wisdom and discernment to know what I'm supposed to do. And let's solidify this idea a little bit. If it was, I have a test tomorrow, I can't be super whimsical and be like, God, just tell me the answers to the test. Like, I pray that I do well on the test, but then you gotta study, you gotta work hard, and like pray that God moves it in your favor, you know? So maybe and you could see God working if maybe you're on the edge of a B and the professor decides that he didn't think he wrote the one question fair, so he gives it back as credit. And then now all of a sudden you're jumping after like sitting and praying for a better grade, you know? I'm trying really hard to paint right now. And something my professor said to me has been sticking about, actually it's not sticking because I don't know exactly what it was he said, but basically I take the aerial view of something and I talk about it in a grander scheme. But I need to somehow ground those ideas into the physical for other people to perceive them as a solidified, more literal sense. But you have to remove the words are telling you, because words were created and then mashed together from just to communicate more. But in giving things words, you now are identifying them as that and never allowing it to change. So when I'm able to talk to foreign people pretty well, or like international students pretty well, bless you, or like Spanish, like I pick up really well the room because I read people's like energy and behavior and reaction, you know what I mean? Not as much as what they say. I really want to start singing, but it's like, I'm scared. And I don't know how to begin. Like, I want to fall back in love with creating instead of being scared. Like, I'm going to go get my cello back, and I chopped my acrylics off, and I'm going to play the cello again. And I've been reading my old journals. And I've always been creating lyrics and songs, but I never made it into a tangible thing because the immediate reaction I'm surrounded by is, what are you going to do with that? Or, oh, this is what I'm paying for. Or, like, it's not worth my time, you know? But it's my life. I've never... it's like, I don't know how to transfer. This is why I want to make music, because it's like an art. People say like you don't need it for anything. Or I'm met with people that don't speak their mind out of fear of other people's reactions. Or, well, anyways, the point is people say like there's no point. And then those same people, when they go through the darkest moments of their life, or the scariest or most hopeful, happiest, like anytime something in life happens, they're scrambling, looking for something to understand how they could possibly be feeling it. Whether it's that song that you repeat 9 times because that one verse really got to you and you felt that, or you had to look at that picture or that painting one more time because you didn't see a perspective that you saw when you looked the last time, you know, like that's why I like words could be bad as well, because we can't solidify things. Things have to be ever in a flow of change. Like it's a constant, nothing is, I don't need to beat this dead horse anymore, but I think that it's so important to live moment to moment, at least for where I'm at right now. And I think it's so important to travel while you're young, because think about all that you gain from traveling. And wouldn't you rather have those new outlooks on life, or those new experiences or memories to help guide you through the future, instead of waiting your whole life? And then what happens if you get sick, you know, or life gets too busy? Like there's no promise that you're gonna have time later on to do what you want. Like a college degree now is no longer like just a path to success. And I'm seeing a lot of people like scramble a little bit. But Penn State's admissions are not going down, and I think it's because the people who come here are here for the environment, not the educational value. But since this school is pumping like a business with so much money, if you pay attention, the education here is like phenomenal. And I'm like so grateful that I jumped when I did from what I was studying to now, because and I went through hell to transition to where I'm at right now. But it's what I needed. It's not what I wanted. But I'm so glad I'm here instead. I'm just so lucky, like, to have made all the mistakes I've ever made and still be granted with all of this mercy and grace and love and forgiveness and abundance is like, wow. There's people on the way to the moon right now, you know? I don't see any reason to waste time now being, well, mourning could be good. It depends on what's happening in your situation. my professor said how Jesus creates. Wait. In the Judeo-Christian moral value system, Jesus creates a creditor and a debtor relationship. So you feel like you have to behave and act a certain way or this will happen. You know, like almost in fear a little bit. But I raised my hand and I was like, I think this is true maybe for, we're reading Nietzsche, and I'm like, maybe this is true for this time period, but nowadays I think that Jesus is seen and read and represented as choosing love always. You know, like any situation you face, like you have to choose love, and that's how you get through it. And not like, and I see him more as a mentor or someone to look towards for guidance when I'm having a hard time. Or anytime, you know, like I invite Jesus into my life all the time. But someone raised their hand and she was like, but if you don't believe in that or see that, you go to hell. Like, that's my issue with it. And I'm like, okay, that's a valid point, that's interesting. But before I gathered my thoughts, a hand right next to her shot up and was like, no, like, you're misunderstanding, like, that's the point of the whole, like, Christianity. Like, you forgive and choose love every time. Like, God is merciful and loving. Always. You know, like, it's not, like, you can, our arms are open always, you know? It's a very hard concept to get across to someone without knowing their background or how they're going to take my words. It's these words that are the problem. That's why I've been trying painting, and it's really challenging me. I told my one professor in office hours that I was going to do this probably 2 weeks ago for our final, and I've started it, so I there's kind of no going back, you know? This ring never fit me before. Well, it did fit me before when I was, for my first Holy Communion. But then I got fat fingers. It didn't fit me anymore. It's like I don't know. You just can't give up. There's only good things waiting ahead for you. Like, why would you? You can't even see them yet.